Thank you, Lynn. Well, the scene this afternoon was chaotic, it was intense, and somewhat bizarre. If you'd have told me this morning when I woke up that today I would be covering Earl McCurdy going toe-to-toe with Pamela Anderson, not too sure I would have believed you, but that was the case, as the two Hollywood stars didn't receive the warm red carpet welcome that perhaps they're used to, but they did come bearing a rather large check in their attempt to end the seal trade.
Hello.
$1 million was the price Sam Simon was willing to offer up as what he called an end-of-season bonus. The bonus would be granted on a number of conditions, ultimately forever banning the East Coast seal trade.
If these conditions are met, the Sam Simon Foundation will pay $1 million to the Canadian Sealers Association for distribution to its members. They can all go to the Shamrock and the Keg and have some fun instead of clubbing the seals.
Hopefully come to some, a resolution and that works. And we're just bringing it up because this is what we believe in and what a lot of Canadians believe in, what a lot of the world believes in. So we have a voice as well.
Reaction to the check was swift, and it didn't take long for comedian Mark Critch to take over the entire event.
Actually, no. There's so many members of the Sealers Association that it breaks down to $165 a person.
Are there any legitimate members
for
of the
$165, Pam, will you give up acting? Will you give up your livelihood for $165?
No one was at the Canadian Sealers Association to accept or reject the check, so Pamela Anderson slipped the letter under the door. The tight quarters outside the office made things increasingly tense.
The local economy.
Do you intend to do the same thing with the beef industry?
We're here to talk about the seals, and this is a buyout offer for a dying trade.
Is PETA okay with beef?
At some point,
is PETA okay with beef?
Well, and we'll be there with a buyout for that as well. But right now, we're here to talk about a failing trade.
Is PETA okay with beef? Is the question, my friend?
No. Does anybody have a legitimate question about?
That was a legitimate question.
FFAW President Earl McCurdy concluded with his opinions on what he called ridiculous and a publicity stunt.
Do they really believe everything is for sale? Including somebody's heritage, including their livelihood, including the future generations who might want to do this, conduct the same kind of an industry that Newfoundlanders have for generations. So yeah, you know, if they think they can come in here and no one's even going to take issue with them, well, quite frankly, they got another thing coming.
Now, shortly after the news conference, a press release was made available from PETA, and in it, the group gathered were referred to as lewd hecklers. Now, also, there was a statement from Senior Vice President of Campaigns, Dan Matthews, and just let me read a little bit of what he had to say. It was interesting to note that the sealers who were heckling were all of retirement age. The fact that there was not one young, vital worker shows that the trade has no future. So very interesting words there. Lynn? Thanks, Tony Marie. Well, both Coach McCambridge and Adam Pardy himself agreed that this isn't the ideal situation for the defenseman, but Pardy is going to make the most of it, and there's a lot he can do to help out the St. John's IceCaps.
What's good on our side of things for Adam is that he brings a lot of experience back there. He's played 200 National Hockey League games, so that's always good to have not only your 5-on-5 play, but in your room and on the bench for some of the younger defensemen. So that aspect of it is definitely a nice injection into the room.
You know, I've been in the league for a few years. You know, I'm 29, so a lot of these guys are young and they're just starting out. You know, so just trying to help, you know, calm things down back there. Just do what I do. You know, just play my game.
So, of course, the St. John's IceCaps are back in town with Adam Pardy, coming off a tough road swing against Hamilton and Toronto, both losses. Tonight, take on the Hershey Bears. Puck drop 7:30. We'll have more, of course, on the NTV Evening News Hour at 6. Until then, Tony Marie, it is back to you. The first thing you notice is obvious, damage from the flames and the water, but there's so much more behind these buildings. Each have their own story and each filled with personal properties now gone forever. This newly purchased building by Our Pleasure ripped into flames, dripping wet, as this hopeful sign stood through it all. Next to its left, a local Oxfam building built by volunteers 40 years ago. Oxfam almost lost the building last year to Oxfam Canada, but no one imagined they would lose the building and everything inside in this dramatic fashion.
Well, inside that building is over 40 years of archives of a tremendous amount of work done by volunteers, so it just hurts. Oxfam's treasures and memories, and as I say, the work that's gone out of that building. That's what hurts now. So it's just it's a huge history that just is. It's obviously tragic to see it go this way.
As the firefighters and police presence took over downtown St. John's to get the fire under control, the Salvation Army was on the scene at 11:30 a.m., helping any way they could.
We basically have a canteen truck that's available at all times that we can load very quickly, whether it comes to food, drinks, supplies, and a couple centers that would jump on board to help us make sandwiches or whatever we need. In this case, we've been called in, and at the present time, we're assessing the situation, and we're trying to provide drinks for the fire department themselves.
Whether it's the neighboring buildings damaged by smoke or the above apartments lost in the flames, the exact number of people affected by this is still unknown as it's still so fresh. But the Salvation Army did add they will continue to work with the city and anybody who needs a helping hand. Ryan Harding, NTV News. The city of St. John's is playing host to 29 nations this week. If you pause for just a moment, you will witness dozens of cultures, languages, and accents. But everyone who's here this week is here for one reason. The World Cup.
It's the pinnacle tournament of all tournaments. It's what you want to play at, is represent your country at the biggest level.
And it's all week long in St. John's. One look left and right, and almost every nook and cranny of the earth is in sight and represented. The world's best dart players going toe-to-toe in a city that is getting quite the reputation in the international dart community.
Right now, Newfoundland is the hub of darts. I mean, considering last November they held the National Deaf Dart Championships here. I was here for that. We had the Youth National Championships in May. We had the Adult National Championships in June. Now we have the 2013 World Cup. That says it all.
Team Canada are not just hometown favorites, but a serious threat to win it all. A distant dream to Newfoundlander Troy Hanlon, a native of St. Mary's Bay, who says it's an honor just to play and see his home represented so well.
Oh, it's the biggest achievement anyone can ask for. It's what everybody plays for. You couldn't have asked for a better crew. Bob and JJ and the NDFC done an amazing job setting this place up.
With the World Cup being the ultimate prize, for many, just the trip and experience has been worth the hours of travel and practice.
It's pretty exciting. I think it's because we come from Scotland all the way to Canada. It's kind of a trip of a lifetime for ourselves, so even just the trip itself out with the tournament is a great experience for the team.
It's been amazing. People here are so friendly. It's the hospitality is great. We love it here.
Is that your first time in the country?
It is. It's the first time out of Australia, really.
Perfect. Ryan Harding, NTV News.